All right, three, two, one. Folks, welcome to Rise to Everything 2.0. Good morning, and let's start the day. Here we go. All right, people, welcome to Rise to Everything 2.0. My name is Arthur. I am the host to Rise to Everything. Good morning, everybody. Blessed Sundays to everybody. Let's start today with a prayer. Okay, so let's bow our heads and say thank you, Lord, for another day. Thank you for the breathe this morning. Breathe deep and thank God for that. And thank you for giving you another opportunity in life. No matter how difficult things get, you have to thank God for every day that you have and every day that you have a challenge or no challenges. God has a plan and is on his own time. So thank you, God, for another day. And thank you for my blessings, for my family. And I pray for my families and I pray for the unfortunate families. And thank you, God, and God bless. So let's start the day today. We all know that my topic today is how to create your own inner peace. Okay. You know, there's a lot of people, and I'm going to start the show. Usually I start with sports and all that, but I'm going to jump right into the show. I'm going to do something different. Because what happens is I drive with all the sports and I drive with everything else, and people are like, okay, this is the topic. Let's jump right on it, and then I'll get to the rest. So I'm going to try this and see if everybody likes this better. Okay. So, how to create your own inner peace, correct? So, you know, on the bottom, you see a lot of people deal with anxiety, myself, depression, stress, and then later on, we'll get into sports, politics, and news and more. So, but one thing I want to do before I get started, I want to give out a big shout out. First of all, I want to welcome a new member to my family. And our new member to our family, his name is Lex. It's a golden doodle. Welcome home, Lex. My first rescue. Oh, sorry for the misspell there. New member of our family. Thank you so much. We're happy. We got Lex from the Big Dog Ranch. And there's the phone number you can reach out to. It's 561-791-6465. Big Dog Ranch, 561-791-6465. Please take the time and visit the dog ranch. God, I'm misspelling all bad today. For a new friend, future family, and make a difference. Special thanks to my daughter, Nina, for the big ranch and for her advice to rescue instead of purchasing a dog. I also want to give a special thanks to Remy at Big Dog Ranch for her great help, her attitude, and her knowledge. And thank you for Rex. So really happy about that. And I appreciate it. And in the background, you probably can hear Rex barking because he's missing me. But I got to get into business, and I have to jump in here and go into the topic and jump in what I do. So, folks, so today we're going to start with how to create your own inner peace. All right. And there's a lot of things that I did some reading today, and there's a lot of stuff that kind of popped out of my head, and I figured I would just go over it today with you guys. So one of the things to create your own inner peace is to start with new habits daily. Okay. Meditation is a very good use for everything because it puts you in a little space on your own to be able to do the things that you want to do. Okay. And it's important to take the time and park your brain, think about positive things, and try to pretty much clear up the board when it comes to your head. Okay. And it's important also to spend time, by walking, go to the park. In my case, I have brought Lex into my life now. It's been 4.5 years since Nene, my dog, passed away. It was a big loss. But Lex just doesn't replace Nene. What he does, he brings another chapter to the life. It's like when you have a marriage and you had a marriage for a long time, and you want to consider that a failure after you get divorced, and it's not a failure. It's just part of life, and it's a learning lesson of things that that you go through, and you also want to look at the positive things that came out of it. Out of that whole relationship, your children and the family extended and your grandkids that came out of it. So there's always positive things that come out of things that then two people just couldn't get along. So same thing goes when it comes to taking the time and thinking. All right. So enjoying our nature. There is a friend of ours, and I should remember her family, and she's always talking about. Her name is Nilsa, and she has a podcast as well, aka Angel. And she's always talking about nature and how important it is to enjoy nature and enjoy the things that life brings us, that which we don't take the time to do. And she's 100% right. Those are things that we need to take, not take it for granted, appreciate it, and day by day. And those are things that are good for our inner peace. Because when it comes to nature, walking, meditation, that's how you create your own inner peace, piece by piece. And also accept yourself. Accept yourself, your circumstances, and where you're at. Face your problems instead of avoiding them. Okay? Because sometimes we try to avoid them, but they're not going to go away until we resolve them. And also be grateful. Be grateful to where you're at right now, that you were able to wake up this morning and share times with your family. And also be grateful for your surroundings and your blessings when you look around and see what you have in your life. All those things are extremely important. Those things create peace and tranquility when you can appreciate what Jesus has given us in our life. Take responsibility for your actions. Don't try to sugarcoat it or nothing. You messed up. It is what it is, and you move on to get better. Don't let your past mistakes define you as a person, because your past is your past. You pass the page like any other book. You read the next chapter, and then you continue with the story. Not every story ends bad. There's a lot of good endings in a lot of stories. So you stay the course and forget about your past. Leave it in the past. I've always told everybody to love yourself. That's number one. You have to love yourself. Nobody's going to love you for your own self, right? You have to take the time and appreciate yourself and who you are, and create a value to yourself. Because if you don't value yourself, all you're doing is setting yourself up for a disaster. Because when you wake up every morning and you're able to breathe and able to appreciate things around you, you're already a winner with that stuff. When you do the right thing and your loyalty to your relationship, loyalty to your family, that is what Jesus wants you to do the right thing, live the right way. He's not counting on how many attendance you have at church. He's not counting on how many times have you donated to the church. He's not saying that, people that go to church are better than you, or you should be lower than that. He's actually judging you as a person, as a Christian, and how you live in your life and how are you moving forward. You see, little things that you do, like this weekend when I rescued Lex. And when I rescued Lex, to me, I thought it was like a big thing, because my daughter kept telling me, you want to go and pay all this money for a dog and all the other stuff, when there's dogs out there, they really need a home. Oh, they've been through some stuff, or they lost their owner, or their owner couldn't afford them, or they couldn't give them the love that they needed, and stuff like that. And it's almost like when you adopt a kid, and you give them a second chance in life, and they become doctors and lawyers, and thanks to their adopted parents, they gave them a second chance in life. When it comes to the animals, dogs and cats, it's the same thing. So I felt really good this weekend. On Friday, I think it was Thursday when I picked up Lex. His real name actually was Lexus, but I decided to cut the US and just put Lex. And he's been great. You know, he was already trained, potty trained, very loyal, very sweet, very lovable. We're having some challenges with the cat. You know, when it comes to Sonny, he is the baby of the house, so we are having some challenges with that. But eventually, hopefully, they will meet halfway and get along because this is what it is. They're gonna have to figure it out. So life is the same way too. Animals have some challenges and humans got some challenges, but in time, baby steps, everybody will figure out what needs to be done. One of the things too is practice acceptance, okay? And contentment. Declutter, right? It's a big word. And you probably say, well, what's declutter? What does that mean? Well, declutter is to right now is to go into your brain and clear all the stuff that is crazy and is all over the place in your mind. You know, if you're thinking a million things in your mind, I know it's hard to control all of it. So park it, put one in file one, put one in file two, and put one in file three. But the bottom line is that you have to really declutter your mind and organize things. Okay? So one of the things is that, you know, that we're constantly, you know, praying and saying, my God, you know, I'm always praying, and I hear other people continue praying and leave things, you know, to God, you know, in general, and everything would take care of itself. But people don't understand that, you know, when it comes to all this, this works with Jesus' time. It's not your time. He doesn't, you know, you're not the one that's going to, you know, sometimes it takes longer, and sometimes you're like, man, this is not going to happen. But that's when you start losing your faith. So you have to stay the course, and you have to stay patient. And stay patient on what's going on, and let no distractions when it comes to keeping your faith. Okay, that's extremely important to keep your faith. Okay, so it's one of the things that I want to tell you. So one of the things I wanted to read out to before I jump into the other basic stuff is face uncomfortable truth ahead and on. Finding peace in minds is about erasing uncomfortable emotions throughout, and about braving the rapids for stiller waters. Stiller waters, numbing, suppressing, avoiding disappointment. Anxiety will only make everything worse. Don't run from judge. Your feeling is instead of compassion and curious. Sometimes simply giving yourself permission to call it like it will allow you to feel tremendous relief. It's excellent practice for identifying what is going on to your heart, mind. Get your swirling thoughts head of the paper. Write something down in paper. Just sit down with a blank sheet of paper and write words that on the page and edit yourself. And don't lie or hide yourself from issues that are important. The goals is to pretty eloquent, even make sense. Is to get touch but what's going on inside your head. So by writing things out, you'll be able to figure out what's going on in your head, and you'll be able to analyze what needs to be worked on. Connect with people you love and trust. You cannot do life alone, period. Healthy relationships are the foundation for still minds and overall wellness. You need people when you're feeling stressed, anxious, and lonely. Go to someone who will listen to you or love you, and just with you. Human connection is one of the most powerful antidotes that low-grade anxiety that might be robbing you in your peace of mind, because you're feeling by yourself, so you're looking for that connection. Okay, so if you don't have anybody, or if you feel like you need an extra incentive, or you need somebody extra in your life to help you with part of your anxiety, that's why I was telling you, if you can go to Big Ranch, maybe, you know, adopt a rescue, and, you know, get a new friend, you know, and create a new friend that you know, dogs are very loyal, cats are loyal, but, you know, I'm a dog lover too. And man, you go to the park or you sit by your pool and that dog is right there with you. And, you know, not that your family's not there for you and your significant other and your wife is not there for you. It's just that you got a special bond with this animal, and He's been through some stuff in his life, and maybe even anxiety, and maybe some of the stuff you guys could relate. So you create this new bond with with your new friend. So those are one of the things. Be active. It's very important to be active. That way you don't have to fall into certain anxiety, depression, or stress. One of the best ways is to get stress out of your body and be active, to lift weights, maybe ride, bike, join a team, do something that you could be active, right? Exercise will clear your mind and help your body unlikely anywhere else. Like I said, maximize the effort, maximize your effort. If you love lifting weights, do that. Hit the gym, running, go and walk in the park with with your dog, whatever that keeps you active. It is also good to sweat, to get some of your system. That stuff is good. Spending time outside as much as possible is very important, because you don't want, sometimes when you sit down in your room or you sit in certain places, you feel sick, and you're not really sick, but the problem is you feel isolated. In every situation, you're going to have to challenge certain things, that you're going to be able to have to find stuff for you to create your own will, and for you to create your own freedom, right? So a lot of people, they go out for a walk, like I said, and walk on the grass and bare feet, whatever it takes for you to feel better. It would be suggested to you to spend a lot of time. Sleep. It's very important to get some rest. Get a lot of rest. It's important for your body to fix some of your health issues, because of the fact that your body does need rest. And instead of your mind spinning and all that, it gets to a point that okay, I'm giving a break. I'm done. I'm going to bed. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, try to stay healthy, with the stuff that you need to take. Try to reduce as much medications and stuff that, that you really don't need to take. Then naturally you can take care of yourself with some good, mental or health, advice. Eat well is so important, guys. Along with sleep, nutritious, rich foods, foundation, pillar of the health. There's no such thing as mental health and physical health. It's all just health. And food is directly impacted into your mood as well as your body ability, function, and it's responsible recovery and diet and high sugar process. Food and trash will contribute significantly to your anxiety levels. So if you eat crap, if you eat like stuff that's not healthy for you, it is not going to help you with your anxiety issues or any mental issues you have, because you're not eating healthy, and it's not good for your practice. So another thing too is practice your forgiveness. Try to be forgiven. Unresolved conflicts can be a huge source of anxiety. If you're still upset about somebody, you still haven't forgiven them about certain things, and you're holding a lot of things in your chest, that's going to make you feel extremely sick. So do you need to forgive someone for their hurt they caused you? Do you need to forgive yourself for a mistake that haunts you? Unforgiveness leads to a bitterness, and it's been said that bitterness is in the poison we drink, hoping someone else will die. Don't carry the bricks of bitterness or anger. Set the bricks down and choose to forgive. God, Jesus, has forgiven us for our sins. So we have to follow the example of Jesus forgiving everybody and try to work on that on a day-to-day basis. See, your biggest enemy when it comes to anxiety and depression is holding everything inside. And it's a big challenge for myself. Like, I'll get upset about something and I'll hold these grudges for days and days and days. And I can feel like my chest is so tight and so unstable because I'm holding all this anger of how things are. And it's just not healthy for me to be that way. So the number one is to forgive that. If you got going through some issues, you're upset about something, forgive it. Forgive yourself first. Follow it and try to stay with your positive. Listening to music. Music is a healing of a soul. Whether you're jamming to the 80s, mental ones, personal favorites, and some of the feed beats create some scent. Find a playlist album that brings you joy and turns on the volume, right? Music is a soul. Like, if you want to listen to Christian music, to me, I love Christian music. I love listening to all kinds of different music that raises my level to a positive energy, but I do love my Christian music. right? And that's one of the things that whatever makes you feel good inside, create, again, your own inner peace. Do something creative. Create is a remarkable outlet of stress, relief, and peace. I love this quote because Brandon Brown said, unused creativity is not being if bastardized into a recent grief of heartbreak. If there's a creative outlet you've been missing, dust off the guitar, start the business, plant a garden, and cook a meal for your neighbors. Getting lost in good novels. Another great way is to increase creativity. Pick up a book and give your brain a break from problem-solving mode. So we're talking about make your favorite dish, right? Talk to your neighbors. Planting or landscaping. That's one of the ones that I do with my wife. We go outside and clean the yard and put new plants and move things over here and there. So it's good therapy too. It keeps your mind busy. Reading, like what I do. Most of the stuff that I read to be able to pass it to you guys on the show and try to talk about the stuff that is important that can help people that are dealing with anxiety, depression, and stress. So these are things that are very, good to do from a day-to-day basis. Practice your gratitude to every day. Like we said before, to be grateful. I keep gratitude journal every day. I know that it feels cheesy, but it's powerful and transformative. Anxiety keeps us fixable in past experiences or worried about future ones. But gratitude is grounding because it centers us in present and it reminds us to stop complaining and whining and internalize our blessings. So it makes us to refocus about all the stuff that we're going through that we complain about, but then it makes us stop for a minute and really count our blessings. Okay? Like we were talking about before. Okay? So pay attention to and redirect your thoughts. I don't know about you, but the more stressed I become, the more I lose control of my thoughts. If I don't sleep in, my brain starts spiral, but unwelcome and frightening thoughts spinning faster and faster. Not crazy thoughts, but that I feel down or whatever the do is. But if you are thinking worse of other things, okay, you need to get some help and call somebody that you love. It's extremely important. Thinking of the same things over and over, worrying about making you feel like you're doing something important. We get false sense of accomplishments from these mental scenarios, preparing for the worst, rehearsing disaster, and practicing imagining the hard conversations. We'll never have a real life. Hear me clearly. Ruminating, and worrying a complete waste of time. Nothing except leave us feeling more helpless and anxious. But here's the exciting thing. We can learn about controlling our thoughts. We can get decided when we fix our intentions, pay attention to our thoughts, run through the mind and direct them in something actually true and pleasant good things about. And if you need help identifying the areas that might be leading to feelings or stress, anxiety, check out, somebody locally, and I will give you some information later. There's a gentleman that has been on the show with us before. You can reach Taylor. He's an expert on anxiety and depression, a great coach. He has guided me in certain things, and if you do need somebody to reach out to help you out, he's the man. All right. So I'm gonna leave his number there while I keep talking, because if you do need a coach or you need somebody to guide you in certain ways, Tyler's the man. So clean up your schedule, right? You cannot outrun or outperform your anxiety or depression. Being rushed into overcoming would destroy your peace of mind. Are you too busy? Stressed out by commitment you could keep. Look at how you're spending your time and find things that you could say no to. Slow down. Create boundaries around your calendar and find time to breathe, right? So you don't want to go 150 miles an hour and no breaks here and there. You got to find a way to when to park it and when to go. It's extremely important. So throw your screens out the window. And what do I mean by that? Okay, well, not really, but maybe. Our devices are stealing our attention. We're talking about our phones and our joy and our ability to present with ourselves and with others. I don't propose that we will all go off the grid and live in the woods without electrical and smartphones and plumbing. But I'm writing the article on a laptop and I'm just posting. So I'm quickly saying on Instagram, for most of us, technology is an important tool for our work and our lives. But I'm certain of the fact that we need to have major guardrails around technology use. Real validation. Your relationship with technology is serving you or you're serving it. Treat your attention as your most important commodity treasure. Value it and protect it. And what I mean by that is we're constantly on the phones. We're constantly on our smartphones. We sit in the living rooms on our smartphones. We don't pay attention to our partner. We go out to dinner and we are on our phones. Those tools are used for work, for us to be productive in our businesses, but we shouldn't be using that during our social time together because all you're doing is creating the distance between your partner, the distance between a communication, emotional connection. And it's extremely important nowadays in this technology is to learn how to put that phone in your pocket while you're at dinner and put that phone in the pocket and stop talking to people while you're with your partner. And this goes for everybody that's out there. They constantly cannot put the phone down and doesn't seem to focus on the person that's in front of you. You're losing the person in front of you constantly, step by step, by not focusing what's in front of you instead of being constantly on the phone or constantly not paying attention. Because a person doesn't tell you something, it doesn't mean that person's not hurt or they're not feeling certain things in their heart or how they're feeling a certain way. So they'll keep it to themselves and then it becomes the norm. And that's not the norm. You know what I mean? At all. It's just not something that, I believe it's a norm at all. You know what I mean? Like I said, your mission today and in our conversation today is to create your own inner peace. And that's, I'm going to close out by also saying that's extremely important is to pray. And I'm a Christian guy, so prayer is important to me. It might not be for you, and that's okay. But you're a person of faith. I encourage you to make regular time to pray and calm your spirit. I also like to write scriptures, verses, and index cards. Yeah, I'm old school like that. And I carry it around me through the day. Regardless of the faith and tradition of relationship or lack of it, which God, we must all internalize one important truth. The universe does not revolve around you or me. We're small. Our time in earth is short. There are much bigger things going on. Prayers remind us to sit our smallest and helps us remember that we all need help getting through each moment. So, the long-term solution for finding peace of mind, to cap it off, is most of the time our general sense of unease, of stress, or guilt, or stems from unsolved anxiety. It's like low-grade fever. It's your brain, body ways of letting you know something is off. But there's what exciting. Once you lean and pay attention to the root cause of your anxiety, you can begin to make deep, lasting changes of healing. Please go all on this. There's so many resources for you to learn and how to live more powerful, joyful, and non-anxious life. Folks, I wanted to spend more time to talk about this because from what I've learned in this life, there's a lot of people, a big high percentage of people with anxiety, depression, and stress. And I hope that if you tuned in late or you jumped in late, go back to the beginning on YouTube, and like I said, please subscribe on my channel, Rise to Everything, and I'm also on Facebook. And start from the beginning that we could really listen to what I went through right now regarding our topic today, because I think it's extremely important that I started the show, about our inner peace. And I think there's a lot of information in there that I think will be very helpful for you. And folks, I have no shame of spending all that time that I need to do with that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the basic stuffs, the other basic stuff that, that I got, went over before. So let's jump it into the Miami Dolphins. So we're going to jump it into something more energy right now. Miami Dolphins will play tomorrow night. They're playing the Jets, 7:15 kickoff. So be ready for Monday Night Football. The Dolphins will be playing the Jets. They're 0-3, both of them. Somebody's going to probably win. So let's see how that goes, and hopefully we can get something going on in sports. Also, the Miami Heat, they'll be kicking off October 2nd, first preseason game. So that's another thing that's coming up soon. Tyler Hero's out because he had surgery on his ankle, I believe, and he'll be out for a couple weeks. So he'll be missing a lot of games. So that's what's going on. Let's jump into politics right away. We're going to do this quick. So we all know what's been going on with ICE and the craziness they're doing to people and going out there and pulling people's families and showing up at places. Man, that's not cool. That's not Christian. That's not what, Jesus practices and all this stuff that's going on. There's no way that this is a good thing, what's going on. We need to put a stop to it. I understand about if there's people doing crime, get them out of here. But some of these people are hardworking people. These people are going to the doctors and people are showing up and arresting them right there and then. I pray for them, Jesus. Jesus, I pray for you to take this whole entire incident and take all these bad experiences and go away. I pray for you to talk to our president. I pray for you, Tim, to have to realize that he needs to step back and reevaluate the situation and go back to the fact that I do understand about the criminals and stuff like that. But right now we are pulling people that are not doing anything wrong. They're just trying to get a good life with their family. So I pray for them, and I pray for them hard. So God, please help for this to start turning around in the right way from a Christian spirit that I have. I pray, and I hope that everything turns itself around from that standpoint. So going back to faith, I'm going to let you know is that the faith that you have when it comes to how you feel and your health, and the faith that you have on a day-to-day basis, it's all we have, but we have to stay the course. When things are not getting better, you can't lose your faith in thinking that Jesus is done with you. Jesus doesn't know how to fail. He doesn't. He doesn't know how to fail at all. So you have to stay the course and believe in him. And like I said before, things are done in his own way, in the way he wants to do things. And it's in his own timing. Okay? So, R2E, words of the day. And these are what it is. Very simple. Set the tone. That's what you'll do today. Set the tone today for you to create your own inner peace. Follow the directions. Follow the possibilities of what you need to do. Because the only person that can turn things around and to make things better for themselves health-wise is you. So we're going to start the word by set the tone. You're going to set the tone. You're going to make it happen. Okay? And that's what, when it comes to life, those are the things that are important. I'm going to give some love to our sponsors out there. Folks, we also have hurricane season coming up. And I'm going to tell you, you are going to need a good roofer out there. Elite Busters Roofing, 5-star review, family owned. If you need something with your roofing needs or whatever the deal is, they're available. They're out here in they cover the whole state of Florida, but they're located in Fort Pierce, family owned, incredible people. Like I said, if you need anything with your roofing, inspection is free. They give free inspections. They do shingles, metal, tile, you name it. That's what they do. They specialize in roofing. So all I can tell you is if you do need something, they're available there. Don't hesitate to reach out to them. And like I said, those are things that, we're getting ready with the hurricane. There's something going out there in the news right now. They're saying there's hurricanes, one going to the left and the right. So be safe out there. Say, stay focused on the things that are important. And remember, people, happiness is a choice. You choose how to be happy, and that choice is yours. Okay? So remember that. That's extremely important. So, folks, thank you for tuning in. And remember, rise to everything you do. Peace. God bless. Take care.